Hey guys, Pooser Animations here, back again with another video for you guys, and this time it's part 2 of the Transformers Universe Meltdown custom. Now in the video I said I'd be uploading it the next day. That didn't happen. I do apologize for that, but we are back, and we are ready to go. So, picking up where we left off, this guy's dried off a full 24 hours, and all this is dry now, so we can see where we left off. And you can see that, as I said yesterday, it's going to take several coats for this yellow to get real solid, but not a problem. I did some studying of the character render of what he looks like in the game. There's a pattern going along the side of the car where it's yellow, and then it's blue, and then it's silver. We're just going to go along with the details of the car that are already here. So around the door, around this part, wouldn't use my brush. Around this is going to be yellow. All the way around the door here is going to be yellow. This little right here is going to be blue. And then the bottom is just going to be a silver or a white, whichever one looks better. The top up here, this is going to be black. The light bar is going to be white and red. And whatever else. All this up here is going to be yellow. Most of this will be yellow here too. And the rims will be silver. So we should be able to get through that today, and we'll call it a day once we get the vehicle mode done. And then episode 3 will mainly focus on starting on the robot mode. So we're going to continue with our yellow here. This is a flat Tamiya yellow. It's acrylic. So yeah, let's get started. You always want to, no matter what paint you use, you always want to shake it up several times just to mix up the contents of the bottle. Doesn't matter how many times you shake it, as long as you shake it good. Alright. Open this up. I'm gonna roll my sleeves up. Alright, and here we go. So, like I said, we're going to go right around this part right here, right on the door, and all this is going to be yellow. And like I said before, don't worry about making a mess. We can always go back later and fix it. But it doesn't hurt to try to be neat. We can always try to be neat. Now, the official CGI model has like a pinstripe going diagonally across the truck. We're not going to worry about that, just for the sake of A, this isn't an exact CGI model, and B, we like to be original here, so nothing hurts. No, little originality never hurt anybody, so just gonna go along the side of the car just like that. Yep. Looking good. And we'll just we'll go up here too on this. Make this yellow as well. Making a bit of a mess, but don't worry, we can fix that. I will try to be neater for the sake of my would-be professionalism. Go around the light. This is just like painting Triage, except Triage had a lot less detail. So let's come around to the other side and do the same thing over here. Getting right on the door. And I'm getting a bit ahead of myself right now. What I think I will do is, just so we can wrap up the vehicle mode in this episode, I'll do a time jump for when this paint is dry. And we will come back to it when it's dry and finish it up. Then at the start of episode 3, that is when the vehicle mode paint job shall be dry from when we finish it in this episode. So, just going back over here just so I can remember what I did. That's right. Okay. Remember. We're following the panels of the car. The truck. Whatever you want to call it. It's an ambulance. Wee-oo, wee-oo. Let's go along here, just like this. Don't want to go too far, because I didn't map this out. Kind of just going along as I go. But, just good practice when you're doing customs. You do want to map it out. I just didn't for this one. Always good to have a plan. And just for the heck of it, since we did this in the first episode, we'll just go over this again and add our second coat to the hood of the truck. Just like that. And we'll use this as our base as to what the yellow will look like with several coats on it, because it does look much better. It's more solid when it does dry. So, alright. Get that going just like that. And yellow applied. Alrighty. Let's rinse our brush out. Marvel at our work a little bit. Alright. Let's put our brush down, put our cap back on our yellow, because we're done with it for a minute. For now we are. We may come back to it. Just bring him in just so I can show you exactly what I did. And with the power of editing, I will be right back. Okay, we're back here. Put together a little bit more of a plan. What we're going to do, since the CGI model has some interesting designs going on, we're going to break this up a little bit. So, let's get the brush here to use as a pointer. From here, back, and on this part, all this right here is going to be yellow. Just like this. Same over here on this side. All this is yellow. This is all going to be black. That's all in here on these little rivets. All this is black. I may paint the rivets silver, maybe. It depends on how it looks. This is going to be black. But the interesting part is going to be on the side. This is going to be a very light blue. Almost like the blue on Thunderhoof back there. This is going to be a light blue, light blue, light blue, light blue. This is yellow. It's going to look really cool in contrast. So, let's get that started just so I can show you guys what this is going to look like. We're going to continue on with the yellow just so we can knock all the yellow out and just be done with it. So, I'm going to shake our bottle up again just for good practice. And let's start on the top section I talked about. So, right behind whatever this thing is, we're going to go just like this. And that is yellow. Now, we're going to go on top of what will be his shoulder. That's yellow. Just like that. Easy peasy. Lemons can squeezy. Alright. Go on this side here. I do want to be a little careful. Although I said it's okay to make a mess sometimes. Normally I would use some kind of masking tape just to keep these areas separate. But We're going to use a little bit of precision here. It's okay. We may mess up a little bit, but it's okay. It's quite alright. We're just going to miss this big square area because that's going to be light blue. Alright, come around here to the back. Let's get this corner here. Just have to figure out how much of this I want. Because again, what you paint here in the vehicle mode has a vast effect on what the robot mode will look like. And I always say that it's better to have an accurate vehicle mode than an accurate robot mode, because paint jobs vary. You know, these figures we use aren't as screen accurate as a CG model, so the parts aren't always going to go where they're supposed to go, like the CG model does when they transform. So we have to improvise a little bit. Sometimes you, because of the way a figure transforms, sometimes your vehicle mode is going to be 100% spot on. Sometimes it's going to look a little funky. Either way is fine. But for me, I like to have an accurate vehicle mode, so the robot mode may suffer just a bit, but not too much. And next episode, you'll see what I'm talking about. A prime example of what I'm talking about is Triage, one of the other Transformers Universe customs that I did. Especially because both this mold, Meltdown, and Triage were based off of Transformers Prime Ratchet, but even still, they weren't 100% spot on, and I could not do that with molding. The robot mode parts were vastly different, and molding the parts on there would have been a nightmare. So I didn't bother with it. I just did minor details like I did with Meltdown, shave a little bit off the head, and call it a day. Just make their heads look different. And I was lucky with the Beast Hunters mold that he already had the monocle, so didn't have to worry about that. Just going around here, getting all the yellow parts I want before we call it a day with the yellow. Making a bit of a mess, but we can clean that up. Just like always. And did I do that on this side? Yes, I did. Gotta clean that up. Gotta get right in here. I do have smaller brushes. I'm just not using them. But, oh, well, that's something else I can talk about. Your brushes. Where can you get brushes from? Well, Sting 1, you can always go to somewhere like a Walmart, or even better, a Michael's, and get you a pack of like 20 brushes for like $5. That's where I've gotten my brushes from in the past. I've bought like 2 packs of brushes already. Usually I keep them in like a cup, like this. And you can see, let me melt them up a little bit. I can show you this to come. I keep quite an assortment. They all have different uses. You have big brushes when you need to paint like big panel lines on a vehicle or something. Like that. You've got smaller brushes that are useful. Eventually you'll want to purchase some finer brushes that come in maybe a packs of 3 or 4 for really small details like this one I got. I think this one came in a pack of 4. 4 just like this for really fine details, like if you're painting eyes, or for example if you're going to come back here on Meltdown and paint this light right here, you want to use a brush like this. At least uses a little paint as possible, and it doesn't really make that much of a mess. This brush here came from a pack that I got from my good buddy Dodge Transformer 84. He sent me some supplies. They're testers brushes, I believe. So I'm sure if you search that up, you'll be able to find them. But they came with like 10 of these and 10 of these, which are flatter brushes that are good for that other flat brush I showed you, for wide panel strokes. Each brush has its own use, and I found a good use for all of them. I've got a tiny brush around here somewhere. If I can see it immediately, I'll put my hands on it, but I don't see it right away, so now I'm going to let it go. But really, really tiny brushes are really, really useful, especially for, again, painting something like the eyes of a transformer, for example. You don't have to worry about making a mess. I don't see it. I'll try to look for it. No, wait, no. Here it is, right here. This is a very, very, very small brush. As you can see, the tip is right there. Just for comparison, here's the brush I've been using. Yeah, quite the difference. Quite the difference. And it's perfect for getting in here. If I wanted to paint this light right here, I could do it very cleanly and very evenly. Just a couple brush strokes and you're done. So I will use this brush next episode just to show you guys, when we get onto the robot mode, how to paint his eye, or eyes, whichever eye we need to paint. It's probably both, but we'll see. So, we can do this while the yellow is painting. We can start on the blue. I think we're going to use this blue just as a base, just to see what it looks like. I don't think I have any other blues. I've got this blue. I've used this blue on Astrea, but that's the only ever time I've used it. It's an acrylic blue. So yeah, let's use this acrylic blue and see what it looks like. I've only ever used it one time, so please bear with me. And it comes in a weird bottle, so. Not the ideal way to deal with paint. I normally would never do this, but this comes in a weird bottle. It's not in a jar like this, so I'm going to lay a little bit of this out on here, on this construction paper that I'm using. I would not recommend this, but for this, I will do it. Always try to keep empty jars around, which I have run out of, so I guess I'll be doing that too. So, where is my brush? Here it is. We're going to use a little bit of this. We're just going to go on this spot again, like we said, and just start with a base coat. Oh yeah, that's going to look great. Just like that. Just get right in there. Oh yeah, this looks just like the picture. The color choice, I mean, this is going to be a nice contrast. Especially since I literally used that light blue for everything. So I'm really glad that I picked this color. It's really nice. I believe this is a... Let me put this up here so you guys can see it. Model color, whatever the heck that is. I usually get my paints from a place called Hobbytown, USA. And I was looking for a specific color for Astrea. So what I did was I just showed them a picture of her, and when I was working on her, and showed her the color I wanted, and then they just helped me pick one out. It wasn't the paint I normally chose, but the color was right. It was an acrylic, so I picked it. I got it. So, but the kind of paint you use, I'd say, is mainly personal preference. I just say start with some experience and just use what you like. I'd say there's no real perfect paint choice. It's just, whatever you want to use. So it comes with experience. And that looks nice. Yeah, that looks really good for our first coat. Now we're going to come around, flip this around to the other side, and do the exact same thing while using this paint here. And yes, this is going to dry up, but I'm not concerned with that because we're going to use this to the fullest. Again, this is not the ideal way to do this. I am in no way a professional, so we're just gonna go with the flow. Just like that. Come in here. It's gonna be a really interesting looking ambulance. I wonder if there are ambulances that look like this somewhere in the world. I'm sure there are yellow ambulances somewhere with this this teal looking color. And just it's a nice contrast. It's a good change of pace. Normally where I'm from, ambulances are they're either yellow with a little bit of red, or they're white. Never green, never blue. Blue would be weird. So I find this color choice very interesting. All right, we got that, and that looks pretty good for a first base coat. Whoa, don't run that over. So yeah, that's one of the dangers of doing this. You don't want to run it over because then you have to paint the tires, and it's just a whole fiasco. So because it's acrylic, it rinses off real easy in our cup of water. So rinse off your brush. And let's evaluate for a second here. Looking good, looking good. I do apologize if these are running a bit long, but these are tutorials, so I'm not really trying to rush through this, trying to take my time and trying to do this the right way. So if these videos run a little bit long for you, I do apologize for that, but gotta move and shake. So the last thing we're gonna do for this episode is the light bar, which is going to be these 4 blocks right up here on top. We're just going to do red on the outsides and white on the insides, just to keep everything nice and interesting. And uniform, I mean, not interesting. So, Tamiya white acrylic. And where is my Tamiya red? There it is. Right here. We'll start with the red. And just so I can show you, I'll use my very, 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 very tiny brush. Shake up the paint. This one. Very tiny brush. So, very tiny brush, very tiny amount of paint, and voila. A little bit more paint. A little bit. Ah, I just realized something. Yeah, this is just like the one with triage. So the whole light bar, the lights basically sit on a light bar, which could have been silver. We could have made that silver, but no need to fear. We could just leave it black. It's fine. And when you're painting, don't think that this paint job is permanent. I could always go back and just scrub it. Just either use sandpaper or whatever method is preferable to you to just wipe the whole paint job off and start over. But lucky for us, I like the paint job, so we're just gonna leave it. Woo! Getting a little out of focus here. Just a little bit. There we go. I'm just trying to get as much of this light bar as I can. There we go. A little bit more paint. A little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah, that's good. Rinse off our little brush. That's just me violently shaking it back and forth in the water, which gets a good amount of paint off. It's a good method. So, we're going to use our tiny brush to paint the inside of the light bar, and we're going to call it a day for this episode. Or a night, rather, when I'm filming this. Ooh, this was a little tough to open. I'm going to put my brush down. Come on, open. Paint's being stingy. One up. What about another one? Oh boy. Please open. There we go. Stubborn paint. Sorry guys. My paint is being stubborn. So, same drill as before. We're just going to paint the light bar. Just like that. Alrighty. That looks good so far. And with that, we're going to call this episode a wrap. It's a wrap for this episode. So, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, any comments at all, feel free to leave them down below in the comments section below. I want to thank you guys again. Let's not forget the reason we're doing this. It's because of you guys. We have 1,000 subscribers. Your continued support is always greatly and deeply appreciated by me. This channel has been growing exponentially since I've started it, which we're approaching 4 years now in March. So I do really appreciate you guys' support. All the people that I've inspired with my work, you guys serve as motivation for me to continue to do what I do, and I love what I do. So this is all for you guys. So feel free to leave a like. It shows your support. Share it if you'd like, and comment down below any questions or comments you may have, and feel free to subscribe. It keeps you updated with all my videos as I'm going to be cranking them out, getting back in the groove. So stay tuned. We'll have an update for you guys coming up soon, and stay tuned for the next custom episode. So this has been the Meltdown Custom Part 2. My name is Pooser Animations. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.